everybody. It's that time again. Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester, streaming at WMNHradio.org. And, of course, MattConnarton.com for all your streaming options. And hello to our friends at Raw Talk Online. I saw Charles Richardson posting a little bit ago. And let's see, today is Wednesday, April 14, 2021, and I'm not alone. Jenny is here at the news desk.
Hello, hello, hello.
And,
here. Pew, pew.
Yes, you got the space lasers going, the Jewish space lasers.
Trying.
Yes.
They haven't kicked in yet. How
right.
long does it take?
Well, we'll have to check with Mr. Soros on that.
Pew.
Yes. Well,
Not fair.
We'll have to
I
find
want my
out.
share.
I know. Well, of course you do. Yes. Let's see. So, yes, today is Wednesday, April 14. I want to remind you all, of course, we are proudly sponsored by the Hop Knot. They are open today. They're open Wednesday through Sunday. I've got my Hop Knot shirt for those of you watching online. And I stopped in there earlier, and funny thing, so I stopped in, talked to Kenny and Trudy for a moment, and while I was there, our friend EZG Eric Gagnon happened to be calling in his order.
I saw it.
Yes.
I saw a picture of it.
Yeah.
He got a nice looking sandwich there.
Yes.
That looks good.
Yes.
Now you're making me hungry.
Right.
Still owe me a pizza.
Well, maybe we can do that today after the show. We'll bring home a pretzel pizza.
Really?
Yes. Is it a pretzel pizza or a pizza pretzel?
It's a pretzel pizza.
Ah, yes.
He's telling you.
Right.
You don't listen.
No, I don't.
Pretzel comes first in this one.
Right.
I know it's hard for you.
All that matters to me is that pretzel and pizza are in the same thing. That's all that
pizza
matters.
Happens to be your favorite food.
It is. It's my staple food. Yes, I do enjoy.
Runner-up, spaghetti.
Yeah, spaghetti, hamburgers I like,
We haven't done that in a while either.
That's true. That is true. So the Hop Knot, they're doing, by the way, too, we'll keep you posted on this, but they're going to be doing something for Juneteenth this year. And they did last year, too.
Yes,
but,
they did.
But last year it was kind of a scaled-down thing because of COVID.
Yep.
But this year, hopefully by the time it's time for Juneteenth, things will be somewhat resembling normality.
I got a good feeling about that here in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And we're doing very well.
Yeah, we are. We are with the vaccines. Well. So,
and despite everything, Pfizer even said today that they're 2 weeks ahead of their production schedule.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like I was sharing on the show yesterday. Apparently, obviously, there's a little bit of a setback with the Johnson & Johnson as that's been put on pause. But that only accounts for about 5% of the supply anyway in the United States. So
I suspect that pause will be lifted.
Oh, yeah.
Relatively soon.
Most
Maybe
likely.
There'll be, it's 6 cases. They count. They matter. And it's important that they're being honest with us now. I kind of feel confident that they're telling me the truth now. Call me crazy, but the last administration didn't believe a whole lot of what I was hearing.
Well, and again, it's 6 cases out of more than 6 million.
Millions.
So it's literally 1 in a million. 6 cases out of 6.8 million.
You have 2 times the risk of getting struck by lightning before that. It's a greater chance of getting struck by lightning than you do of actually having an effect.
Right. We have our first call of today's show. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, it's Charles. How you doing, guys?
Charles Richardson.
Hello.
How are you?
Well, you know something? I'm glad you asked there, Matt.
Yes.
Because up until Saturday, I was feeling fine, going in to get my Johnson & Johnson shot.
Uh-oh.
And then I find out, there could be some severe and rare blood clots. So I'm asking everybody now that's listening to me on Raw Talk Online at 95.3 to please bow your heads and say a prayer for me that I don't die.
Oh, stop it.
Well, you've got
terrible.
You've got a couple things in your favor, Charles. I mean, first of all, again, statistically, it's literally 1 in a million that you'll have an issue. But actually, it's probably even lower than that because if I'm not mistaken, all 6 people who've suffered blood clots have been women age 18 to 48.
18 to 48.
So unless
women.
you're unless you're a premenopausal woman, Charles, you're probably okay.
You're fine.
Well,
You're fine.
Yes, given to the fact that I do have something down there that identifies me as a male, I get very emotional over chick flicks, and I'm 43.
Stop it.
Oh,
way to be a jerk. Chick flicks.
Well,
I'm about ready to shed a tear right now.
Oh, give me a break, would you?
No,
come on.
No. Come on, now.
Give me a
This
break.
this is a safe space.
Jenny, hi, by the way. I've been watching the call when you were on. Hi, how you doing?
Oh, I'm wonderful, darling. How you?
I'm doing fantastic. Yeah, it's like I got the worst luck because, number one, my wife didn't want even me to get the shot.
Really?
So it's like, just listen. Well, see, the thing is, Easter was a real cluster. So the whole family is going around like, yeah, I got my first dose of the Pfizer. Oh, I got my second. I'm already cleared. Blah, 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 blah. So it's like everybody's talking about the vaccine. I'm thinking, shut up. Leave me alone. I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah.
And it got political, and it's like, okay, everybody at this table except for me and my wife have been vaccinated. Let me just get it over with. Why not?
Yeah.
I'll get my little cool card that shows that I can go anywhere I want now, and just let me get it.
Right.
So it's like, I don't want the 2 shot. I don't want to wait 28 days for another shot or whatever the time period is between the 2 shots.
Yeah.
Let me get the 1 and done. So I go get the 1 and done. I have to travel a little bit because it's not as available as Pfizer, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
And it's like I get the best luck in the world. Like I get, Monday was the announcement made, or Tuesday, that they're going to look to stop it because of blood clots. I'm thinking, oh, God, I already got a bad heart. I already have high blood pressure. I already have diabetes. You really got to throw this on me?
Sounds like you need to make a few more changes instead of... I wouldn't worry about that needle in your arm so much as the dietary changes you definitely need to make.
Yeah.
It's still scary. It's still, when you go ahead and see that this thing has to be pulled because of 6 people out of 6 million, that's like, what's being held? What's not being said?
It didn't have to be pulled. They did it under an abundance of caution to take a closer look at the 6 cases in the entire nation and see if there's something they needed to be more aware of there.
Yeah.
It's being super cautious, which makes great sense. And I'm rather glad to see that because I don't want my government going, just throw it out there and see what happens.
Right, right. Yeah.
So they're doing that just to make sure they know what they want. They know what they think they know is correct. And then I bet that it's going to be a short period of time. They're going to be right back up.
Yeah.
They're going to be running Johnson & Johnson again. No big deal. Because, think about it this way. There's no medication in the world that you can name that hasn't had an interaction with somebody else. It's going to happen. It's statistically impossible to have a group of 100 people and nobody gets a reaction. It's statistically impossible. Tylenol, not going to happen. Ibuprofen, not going to happen. Right?
Yeah, you'll be fine, Charles.
You're fine.
But I am curious now.
Why don't worry?
Why doesn't your and I assume this hasn't helped any. But why doesn't your wife want to get it? Or did she change her mind at any point?
She feels the same way I still feel. Actually, I still feel this is a rush vaccine. I still feel that not all testing has been done, and I understand why because. Listen, our whole way of life has been affected by this.
Yeah.
So it's like, we need something now, right? So I get it, but I'm also to the point, up until Sunday, I'm like, I don't want to take it, or last Sunday, excuse me, I don't want to take it, it's too new, and it's like, well, then I see everybody else getting it, and I'm thinking, oh, peer pressure, let me just get it.
You know what? No, you do yourself a favor. Honestly, I don't mean this sarcastically. Do a quick Google search on messenger RNA, on mRNA. And you'll look and see that the science of when they actually figured out how to write this stuff was back in the 1960s. Yeah. And there's been a ton going on. And this is wait. The science
this has been ongoing for the last 10 years.
But they've been working actively with this for years to try and figure out if they can do some kind of cancer vaccine with this. In fact, now they're seeing the science that they are. There's even more hope that we could be seeing some seriously great vaccines coming down the road. with the messenger RNA. I realize you didn't get that. I realize you went with the J&J, which is the more traditional style vaccine. But check it out. It's not as new as you think. There's a lot more science behind it. Decades they've been doing things with animals. What's just different about this is we jumped a little bit in that we didn't do a longer human trial at first before giving it to millions of people. Normally, you have a little group. We have, 100 people here, 200,000 there, whatever. That's the difference. That's the big difference. So, we took a risk releasing it quicker, but not before going through all the stage trials, right? And here, look at us. We've been given 3-4 million shots a day. If this sucker was going to kill anybody, we'd be dropping like flies right now.
Yeah.
Millions of people a day.
I'm glad you got it, Charles. I think it was the right decision, and I think you're better off for it. We want you to be healthy, especially where you have other things that are high risk.
I was kind of hoping to wait a little bit longer, but it's like, with everything going on, Biden's wanting that vaccine passport, and I know DeSantis down here in Florida is like blocking everything Biden's doing, which is great. But it's like, let me. I want all my immediate family to feel comfortable around me, and it just seemed like that was the topic to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
not to mention not getting left out of things. I mean, people have businesses and services have the right to go, hey, no vaccine, you ain't coming in. No shirt, no shoes, no service.
Yeah.
Hey, forget it. If that's what it takes to make their employees feel comfortable to be able to come to work safely, because they have a right to do that. And we as the public are going to have to suck it up buttercup. If that's somebody's rule and regulation, that's the way it's going to be.
Now, is your wife open to getting it down the road, or is she just against it?
I think she's open to getting it down she's never had a vaccine before, since she was a kid, but
no flu shots or anything.
She's not fond of needles, so I think anything that has a syringe, I think she's against.
Oh,
but, I think if they say, hey, listen, it's tested, it's verified, we had all these years, all these subjects, I think she would eventually get it.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. Want you to be, especially Florida at one point was really a hot spot for this. You're not, I forget where in Florida you are. You're not in Miami, are you?
No, I'm on the other coast. You know where Fort Myers is. I'm a little bit north of there.
Oh, okay.
Clearwater area?
I used to live down there. No, keep going about 2 hours south, just a little bit south of Sarasota.
Okay. Yeah, because I just remember just being horrified at Miami when all those when the place was overrun and they had to declare a state of emergency, and it's like, oh my God, can't these people wait just a little bit longer before they do this? But
have you ever been to Florida?
Yeah, I know.
There's a special breed of people down there,
before COVID, that place is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although
keep sending all the Republicans down there. They can keep it.
I do like the Will Smith song though. That's kind of fun.
I thought that was about California.
No, Miami.
Oh, that. No, I don't remember that.
It's really not.
I got a weird question for you. Do you have a doctor in your family?
Do I have a doctor? No, I do not.
Just curious.
I didn't think there for a second. I have a nurse, but I don't have a doctor.
Oh.
I had a Dr. Richardson for a long time here in New Hampshire, and he got a really cool promotion and stuff. But he was the best doctor I had. He was like the best doctor, hands down.
First off, Richardson is my adopted name.
Oh.
And if I go back, they're all retards. So let's put it that way. I'm sorry.
No.
Well, all right. Well,
all right, you need to sit down and write 100 times. I will not use that language.
Richardson is.
I'm sorry.
Richardson is a very common last name.
I know, but I just thought I'd ask.
You never know.
Small room.
You never know.
Geez, we go to get a vaccine today, and here I am. Twice.
That's right. Yes.
We'll get into that later.
Yes. No, I think you'll be fine, though. I'm glad you got vaccinated.
You're fine.
You'll be fine.
Oh, thank you, guys. And I feel a little bit better. I appreciate talking to you guys.
All right,
no,
good.
I'm glad. Seriously.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys take care. Have a good show.
All right, my friend. Thank you. Take care. All right, Charles Richardson of The Charles Richardson Show, which you can hear on Raw Talk Online. Don't have the days and times right in front of me, but he's on a few times a week. Just go to rawtalkonline.com. And I did hit the dump button on the R word, but
thank you. I don't like that kind of language.
I
never allowed that in my house.
Yeah.
I didn't like. No, I don't. Those kind of words are just not okay.
But but to his credit, he immediately regretted it. So
yeah. You know what? I give him very good credit there.
Yes. But we are on FM radio, so we have to be
well,
sensitive
not just
to that.
Now, wait a minute. It's not because you're getting forced into it.
No, I know. But I'm just saying, though, that's why I hit the dump button. That's why we're on a delay in case, But we can't work blue here. I know DJ Midas likes when I say that. We don't work blue here at WMNH.
We work pink?
That's a different thing, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
But,
Still waiting for my purple tail.
We occasionally,
Vermin Supreme promised me a purple pony, and I never got it. So now I want a purple tail.
Well, we never got him elected now, did we? So we need to get Vermin Supreme elected before you can get
I was
pony.
brushing my teeth all the time even.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see.
Purple pony.
Well, the line is open if you'd like to dial in, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. You can also text us at 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton. Please follow me on Twitter if you don't already. You can send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. And, of course, you can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. We'll say hello to everyone in there in a moment. But the best thing to do so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones is to give us a call at 603-250-6007.
I don't have dulcet tones.
How do you know?
Because they said that guy said I had screeching.
Oh, who said that?
Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Was his name Eric?
Eric Fisher. He was in the chat room.
He said I had a screech.
Yes. I couldn't... was that yesterday?
No.
The day before.
The day before that.
Yeah.
It was Monday.
I checked him out on Facebook out of curiosity. Yeah, definitely a very Republican Trumper. But that's all right. But
I used to think they weren't all bad.
They're not all bad. Stop.
I don't know anymore,
Oh, my father is... Well, we won't get into that.
Your father and my father could sit down at the same table, so I ain't saying nothing I ain't saying about my own here.
He left me a very nice... My dad left me a very nice voicemail earlier.
Did you listen to all of it?
Well, I didn't quite get a chance to. It was a bit long. It got to... There was... But anyway... But he called us during the show yesterday. You weren't here from that, but it's kind of fun.
I heard it at home. I was listening.
Well, my dad is new to Facebook, so
I know this.
So he's
and my dad got his first smartphone this year.
Yes,
for real.
So my dad was surprised to see he didn't like. He was listening live on Facebook for the first time because he usually checks out the archive later. He's not local here in Manchester. He lives in the Seacoast area, but he usually listens to the archive later online. And
so has he never seen the audio? Well, the visual part?
Not until yesterday, because apparently. So
that's cool.
Like I said, he's new to Facebook, so he happened to be on, and he saw the notification pop up that I was live.
I'm not going to say what I'm thinking.
And he clicked it. And there I was live, and it was a surprise to him. So and then he called in. So there you go. Paulie's.
I'm so glad he finally found Facebook.
Paulie C.
He was a Facebook virgin.
Yes. Well, I mean, he was aware of Facebook. He always said. Are you having a side effect of the vaccine? You're awfully.
Oh my goodness.
You're awfully giggly there.
We should. Why didn't you ever send him the link to the YouTube? Doesn't the YouTube have the video? Or is it only audio?
No, the version of the show that goes up on YouTube is just the audio.
Oh, see, I always thought you could watch the...
If you want the video, you need to come to Facebook. If you
Hence his Facebook and not your father's first foray.
Yes. I mean, he'd always been aware of Facebook, and he might be listening right now. And he always said he would never be on Facebook, but he finally gave in. He always said he'd never have a smartphone, but then about 10 years ago, he gave in on that.
My dad's using my mom's login for Facebook.
Oh, they share a Facebook account?
He doesn't have one. He's a total lurker. Should never share a Facebook account. Are you kidding?
No good
Have you
will
met
come
my
of it.
parents?
No good can come of it.
No, they're fine.
There's so many misunderstandings that can happen. Ask anyone. Ask anyone who's ever shared a Facebook
They've
account.
had the same TV for 45 years. They're
matter.
fine. Nothing changes.
You never share.
I'm going to get punished on this one.
You don't step on Superman's cape. You don't spit in the wind, and you don't share a Facebook account.
Oh, stop it.
It's just a bad idea.
Oh, stop it. Some people are mature enough to do these things. Like my parents. It's not my problem if other people aren't mature enough to handle that.
Too many misunderstandings that can happen. It's just not a great idea for anybody of any age.
You stop it.
Just saying.
Oh, give it a rest. I'm sorry that my parents are very mature and loving individuals that can handle logging onto the computer with one another without losing their minds.
I understand.
You act like that happens with us.
Do we share a Facebook account?
No, but I do panic every time I try and post something on Unleashed and it comes out as Unleashed instead of my name. And then I do the massive quick delete. So I do panic on that.
Oh, Jordan Fox is in the chat room. Jordan liked the Jim Croce reference. Thank you, Jordan. I take great pride in my references. And the other day, I pulled out something so archaic, like no one even probably a week younger than us would have gotten it when I told Christian Lacoste that we had recently replaced his regular coffee with Folgers Crystals. And, of course, he had no idea what I was talking about.
He doesn't drink coffee.
But in my mind, it was funny.
No, that wasn't funny.
No, in my mind,
and for the record, my
parents,
it's my stepmom and my dad, and they've been together since I was 5 years old. So no shot on them. Those two are lovebirds are sticking together.
I didn't mean other. I just meant they shouldn't share a Facebook
Besides,
account.
my mom does all the techie stuff for my dad.
Uh-huh.
My dad does the house. It works out.
But that can change at any time. My dad used to say he'd never text. I
wonder when my dad retires if he's going to be like on the computer a little more.
Probably. That's why
he's
going to need a Facebook account.
He's always busy doing something around the house.
Yeah, but he's going to have a lot more time.
Forever looks like it came out of Better Homes and Garden.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating.
No, you're not. You're not.
They're always doing, there's never things don't break at my parents' house.
Right.
My dad's like on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
When they built the house, true story, when they built the house, it was when Google Maps first was getting really popular. So on a joke, we looked up my parents' house, and it was in a new development. My parents built the house themselves. And out of everybody, you could find my parents' house because my father was the only person who had green grass.
Google Earth.
Google Earth, yes. And you could totally find my parents' house because they had this big, green, beautiful lawn, and everybody else was still in dirt. I swear you could play. My dad's lawn is better than a golf course. Mm-hmm. For real.
No, it is. It's magnificent. Absolutely.
It's very thick and plushy. Grew everything, all the trees and everything. It's just amazing.
By the way, Rocky Huber in the chat room says, did anyone catch Easy G's exciting trip to get a day calendar at the Hallmark store?
Yes.
I believe we saw that while we were waiting for you to get vaccinated today.
We were watching him live and on air. Mm-hmm. In fact, I was the first one in on that one. Just saying. Yeah. I was the first one in.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Yes, we did.
I was paying attention to my alerts.
We did see that. So we, so we went today and we got your second shot. My second shot of Pfizer will be on March 26th. I'm sorry, April 26th, rather. Now I'm not Jewish, so I don't get I don't get the space lasers.
They're not working. Maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I'm not Jewy enough.
Well, when's the last time you went to,
it's supposed to be you born a Jew, you die a Jew. That's what my aunt would say.
Right. Oh, so you don't have to actively participate. You're good.
No, you're born in.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. You can convert in, but you're born in.
Right.
Only if the mother half is Jewish.
Is that how it works? I've never been clear.
Your mother has to be Jewish.
Oh, okay.
Unless like dad converted and stuff. And like you're both Jewish. No, wait. No, mom has to be Jewish to be a Jew. Or you convert. It's one of the two.
Well, it seems like the second rule nullifies the first rule. If you can just convert, then what's it?
Conversion takes a lot more time. It's not as easy to convert to Judaism as it is Christianity.
There's like an official conversion process?
Yes, there is. Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Yep.
Oh,
there's an absolute process you can't just go in, drop your knee and go, yo, and sign me up.
Oh.
Yeah, no, we don't make it that easy.
What, do you have to fill out some forms or something?
Worse than that, you got to take classes and stuff.
Yeah,
and you actually have to learn about Judaism to become.
Oh.
Yeah, you can't just go, hey, our Father, woo, I'm here.
See, that's what's...
Yeah, there's none of that.
See, now that's what's nice about Christianity. It's
you have
just
that spiritual anointing.
All the different denominations are similar enough that you can be like Easy G.
No, wait a minute. Isn't Catholic a process? You can't just drop your knee and become a Catholic.
Oh, sure you can.
No,
Whatever.
you can't. They don't have an automatic in.
You can.
Baptists like that kind has an automatic in. You just have to drop a knee and accept your Lord and Savior, and then you get up and you're a Christian. Unless they require baptism, maybe. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
But it's not like a class and a process that you learn about what to eat, what not to eat, how to do this, how to do that. There's a class in Judaism.
Yeah.
Just like Catholics have classes, too. They don't just...
Well, they do.
They don't have a drop-a-knee version of Catholicism. I actually went to a Catholic youth group when I was a kid.
But you can go. I mean, if you're a Protestant, you can go to a Catholic church, and you can. I mean, it's not like they're going to kick you out.
They don't ask, but technically, you're not supposed to. Technically, if you're not a full-fledged Catholic, you're not supposed to walk up there and have the wafer and the wine and stuff.
That
I didn't know that, and I did it when I was a kid. I did. I just went along with everybody else.
I am unclear. I think it depends on the church. Some are stricter than others. There was this is I had forgotten about this until now. This is a weird. I don't think I've ever told this story on the air. My friend Chris Rose, who a few of our listeners will know Chris. He and I did a podcast together along with our friend Dan Randlett, who's on Retrospectrum Radio with us years ago. But so his father passed away. And so a bunch of us, in fact, Glenn R.J. Willett, the People's Mayor, who we saw right before the show, he rode with us. And it was me, Glenn, Dan. We the three of us rode together to go to the funeral for Chris Rose's dad. And it was funny. The priest was Haitian, and no one could understand him. He had a very thick Haitian accent, and I remember Chris telling us his dad requested that intentionally for his funeral because he thought it would be funny to have a priest who none of us could understand, because his dad had a great sense of humor.
Gosh.
I never met him, but that was his dad wanted that.
Oh, my God.
Specifically because he thought it would be funny.
That is fun.
But, so a weird thing, I had never seen this happen before. So it's a Catholic funeral, so they still do communion, even though it's not a regular mass, it's a funeral. And but they still do the Eucharist, and the priest, we could understand him well enough. He said something about, please only come up to receive, how do they put it? To receive the Eucharist, or to receive the host?
Communion?
To receive communion. He said something about only come up if you're actually Catholic. I forget exactly how he put it, and it was difficult to understand him anyway. But, and like, we're kind of looking at each other like, that's a thing? And I think Glenn...
Wait a minute, did you go to a Catholic school? How do you not know that's a thing?
I had never heard that before in my life. That little disclaimer or that caveat that you don't come up unless you're actually Catholic. You don't, come up and do
There's
that.
There's only so much body and blood to go around there, buddy.
I had never heard that before in my life. But I also know, though, too, I mean, with Catholicism, there's very strict Catholicism. There's much more liberal Catholicism. Everybody kind of treats it like an...
And then there's Greek Orthodox, which is in a whole nother category on its own.
Well, yeah. But so I don't... Joe Friday corrects me. He says it's a funeral mass, not a funeral. But yeah, I'd never heard of that before. But I guess because, I went to St. John's when I was a kid, St. John's Regional School. And so we went to St. John's Church. And there was never anything like that. There was no, hey, if you're just some poser and you're not really Catholic, you don't come up. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Who's there?
Hi, Matt. It's Gary.
Hey, Gary. How are you?
I was an altar boy for a few years. Hi, Jenny.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm Ducky. What's going on today?
To talk to you about religions, I was an altar boy for a few years, And I have friends. I have a friend that's a priest now, but to become a Catholic, you have to make sure that you get baptized.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have like a first communion, and if you're older, you have to make sure that you do your to be confirmed.
I never did that, but I'm familiar with it.
It takes a year. It takes about a year, almost a year, to become a Catholic. Because, like on Easter, because you have to go through classes and everything, and on Easter, they have the big celebration to bring you into the Catholic faith.
I never did confirmation, but you know what's weird about that?
I'm surprised you didn't.
Well, I am too, because my dad, I remember
That's
for
why
a while.
I'm surprised.
For a while when I was a kid, my dad on Wednesday nights had these kids come over, and he was teaching a confirmation class because he was very involved in the church. But I ended up never doing it, and he never ended up talking to me about it. To this day, I don't know why, and I've never asked him. But
Interesting.
If you're married in the Catholic Church, you have to have done all your sacraments. So they make you do that, and you can get confirmed at the altar when you're married if they do it really quick.
Oh, no kidding! I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah,
mini version.
Huh.
Yeah, I wanted to be a priest when I was younger, but I couldn't make the commitment.
Well, my dad was actually in the seminary studying for the priesthood when he met the woman who would eventually become my mother, and he fell in love with her and realized the priesthood wasn't for him.
So you went from priesthood to Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
That's a jump.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah, it is. It's a bit of a jump.
I don't know.
Well,
Don't you think?
I don't
Priest
know.
to Navy SEAL?
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, it's not like he was actually a
No,
priest.
I had a good friend that's he's a pastor of the church in Manchester, and he was this big guy, played football and everything, and he had the kindest heart in the world, but if you saw him, you wouldn't want to mess with him.
Mm-hmm.
And when we didn't see each other for a while, I said, "Oh, he was gonna be a cop," and it never happened. He became a priest, and then when I was going to church, I went into my church that Sunday morning. I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I see him come walking up the aisle, and I went, and he has this, he has his collar on and everything. I went, oh no, and I looked over and I said, hey, and he goes, oh, he says, we'll speak later. So then I talked to him later. I said, what happened? He goes, well, he got the calling to become a priest.
Yeah.
But he's the sweetest guy in the world. If you met him, he's a very good man, and he But we got my friend and I, when they used to have concerts in the park, my friend and I saw him and his sister, and we were sitting there. So we yelled over to him and said, "Hey, I'm not going to say his name, but he went, hey, wow, boy, what a nice date. What'd you get her? Nice date. I thought, So he went to his church later, and the old ladies, they got all upset. You're not supposed to have girlfriends, There's not. And we said, geez, man, we're sorry. We apologize. But the old ladies, just because he was with his sister, they spoke, the ladies' guild.
Uh-huh.
But he is the sweetest guy in the world. If you met him, man, he loves everybody.
Mm-hmm.
He don't care what you are or where you're from or whatever, and
yeah.
But
well, very good. Very good.
My favorite priest though is when me and a bunch of other guys we used to take care of putting up all the trees and everything for Christmas at the church.
Yeah.
So we were sitting in the pew one time, and he came by, and he when they come up, they throw holy water. They do the holy water bit. So we all sat there, and then we all sat together, and then he started throwing holy water, and we all started hitting ourselves like, oh, we're burning.
Oh, God.
And he says, I want to talk to you guys after.
I bet.
So he goes, don't ever do that again. I said, well, it was, we just love being here, and we love to be we love to joke and stuff like that. Just to make the mass go by. So Christmas comes, and they want us to put up the whole Christmas thing, all the trees. So we had trees that had flashing lights.
Uh-huh.
So we went to put the trees in, and I said to my friend, I said, "Hey," I said, "Jules," I said, "what if we flash the lights when Father comes out, and to do to do Christmas midnight mass?" He goes, "That would be really cool." So we were setting everything up. So we got everything set. We told Father, "Come see what we did." So we put them on flashing, and we said, "This is what's going to happen. When you come, the organ's going to play, and you're going to come down the aisle, and the lights are going to come on, and they're going to flash." He goes, "No, they won't. No, they won't." Oh, I said, "Come on, So we came to mass that night. We all sat there, and he came out, and he stood, and he went to the back, and all of a sudden, when the organ began to play, the lights came up, and he was waiting for them to all just, sparkle.
Yeah.
And all we heard was, he started saying a little prayer to himself. Thank God you didn't do that. Thank God you didn't do that."
Yeah,
because we used to have fun with them.
You just wanted him to have an entrance, like at WrestleMania.
I wanted to have a production.
Yes.
I was building stuff. I wanted to have a production.
Yeah.
But, I wanted to have the Christmas special, but
yeah. Yeah. No, well.
But,
what can you do?
Yeah. But no, seriously, it takes like a year to become a Catholic. To become a Muslim, it takes only maybe you go to the mosque and they say 3 times that you believe in you believe in Allah, and then you become a Muslim.
Well,
then you sign a paper.
You sign a paper.
Yeah.
Oh. Wow.
You sign a paper that you're going to be a Muslim and you go to the mosque on Fridays.
Oh, well, okay. Well, that's
at noon time. Yeah.
Good to know.
When you go and meet everybody.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I'm pretty versed in stuff like that. Because I wanted to be a priest, but I taught Catholic religion for 5 years. So.
Did you?
That was cool.
What did you taught Sunday school?
I did CCD classes on Saturday for 5th graders.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I had to do that.
I taught Sunday school.
I had to do CCD. Yeah, that's right. I remember you saying that. Yeah, I had to do CCD when I was in 1st grade because they couldn't get me into St. John's. I went to St. John's from grade 2 to grade 8, but they couldn't get me in for 1st grade because there was a waiting list. And yeah, I remember going to CCD. Yeah, I remember that. Peter White has some of the morning show with Peter White. He has some stories about that. He got into all kinds of trouble with our friend Father Bruno from the Vatican, but we haven't heard from Father Bruno in a long time. I hope he's okay.
Yeah.
I hope he got that big promotion.
Yeah, no, I never really got in trouble with the priest. Well, except for once I was at a mass and I had to get out of there really early to go someplace. So we were towards the end of the mass, so I had my black robe and then I had my white cassock over like priests would wear for all the boys. So right before the end, right at the mass, we were together, and then all of a sudden the mic, he was talking into the mic, "Peace go with you." I unsnapped my cassock from underneath because I could put my hands through, and all you heard through the church was.
Oh.
And he looks over at me and goes, "Yeah, we have to have a talk later."
Oh, boy.
He goes, "I know you're on the way out. I know you're young, but don't ever do that again because they can hear you through the."
Yeah.
But that's the only thing I got in trouble for.
Yes.
And then I got in trouble when I was teaching the kids. I got in trouble I was working for a beer company at the time, so I worked Saturdays, and I had to go to work. After I went there, it was in the morning, so I wore a Corona T-shirt, and I walked in, and I had my head. I always wear a skull cap, and my shorts, and the kids loved it. And I walked in with a beer shirt, and there was the priest.
Oh boy!
Yeah.
And he goes, "You can't wear beer T-shirts." And I looked at him and went, "Uh-oh. Sorry, but that was the only clean T-shirt I had."
Yeah, I can see where that might be an issue, but
yeah, but that was
You're not helping.
That was a fun day.
Yeah. Well, at least you didn't wear like a Black Sabbath shirt or something. That would have been kind of cool.
Well,
true story. I was in elementary school.
I had my Motley Crue shirt, and yeah.
You wore that for CCD?
No, I never wore that one.
Okay.
But he saw me in it one time when I was downtown.
Little shout at
And
the
I
devil.
had a Harley Davidson skull cap.
Yeah.
And I used to wear my Harley Davidson skull cap because I loved that thing. It was so comfortable. And he saw me downtown, had my Harley Davidson skull cap. And I don't ride a motorcycle, but I had that on. And he just kind of looked and went, "Oh, Father, how are you?" And he goes, "Oh, hello, Gary."
Jeez.
But,
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm. Yeah.
You disappointed him,
So that's
clearly.
why I wouldn't be. That's why I couldn't be pope or cardinal or bishop or
yeah.
or a priest.
Right. Yeah, you won't be any of those things. I understand.
I won't be. Yeah, I won't be attending the Vatican.
I
I
think
wouldn't
it'd
be able to see Father Bruno. I wouldn't be attending the Vatican.
I think it would be
I
fun.
want to go in their archives.
I think you should be Pope Gary.
Explore.
I would go back to the church if we had a Pope Gary. You could be Pope Gary. I think that'd be exciting.
Oh yeah, Pope Gary the First, and
Yeah.
I always wanted to ride around in a Pope mobile.
Right. Well, it is. It's bulletproof. Yeah, I think that'd be
Yeah,
fun.
but it has to be like a monster truck.
Oh
With
yeah,
the big wheels.
Looks more like a Lee car.
yeah.
Remember the Lee car?
You come driving.
yeah.
Yeah, you come driving out of the Vatican, and you have the big, huge smokestacks, and you wave to everybody.
Well,
Yeah.
you could have like the Pope Mobile could have some of those special effects that you tried to set up for the priest, and
Oh, boy.
and that way you'd finally get your big your big show that you wanted.
Oh no.
It'd be very
Yeah,
exciting.
I could have. Well, I'd have the flashing lights, and I have the siren going and stuff like that.
Make it a production.
Playing Ozzy Osbourne.
Yes, or make it like a Broadway show. Although there's some irony there, but I think that'd be
I could
great.
have a
You're
production.
terrible.
Yeah, I could have Ozzy Osbourne playing,
God,
or I
evil
could have
Maddie.
Judas Priest or something.
Yeah, a little breaking the law, Judas
Some
Priest.
good music.
Oh,
Yeah, some good organ music.
Right,
Organ music.
right.
Well, did you ever see? Was it The Simpsons? The song in the Garden of Eden.
Yes, I know what you're you're talking about when they in the
at
church when they sing.
at one of the Simpson things, they went into because they go to church,
Yeah.
and the priest says, "We have a new song that the organist will be playing today in the Garden of Eden," and he starts playing, the song, and then in the middle of it, how everybody gets up, and so they all got lighters, and they're all flashing their lighters in the middle. So she plays the end, or just that whole roll, and then she passes out.
Yeah. I know what you're
So I
talking
yell
about.
at them. They're looking at them. They're going, "Bart, Bart."
Yes. Well, all right,
But,
Gary. Well, we don't
they
want
got in trouble for that.
We don't want
That
to.
wasn't,
We don't want to get you in any further trouble with the Lord today, but so we appreciate we appreciate
No,
the call.
I love the Lord. I love Jesus.
Yes.
He loves me. He's been helping me when I pray. So
Excellent.
But,
Well, all right, Gary. It's wonderful to hear from you. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you so much for the call.
all right, my friends.
All right, take
Love
care.
you both.
All right,
love the show.
All right, love you too.
Love you, Jenny. Have
Love
a
you
good
too.
day.
All right,
Bye-bye.
thanks, Gary. Bye-bye. By the way, I found here. I found
Oh
it.
no.
This is great.
Oh my
Hymns
God.
here. I got hymns here. Get 'em while they're holy. Fresh from God's brain to your mouth.
And now, please rise for our opening hymn, In the Garden of Eden by I. Ron Butterfly.
Garden of Eden, honey. Don't you know that I love you? In the Garden of Eden, baby. Don't you know that I'll always be true?
Hey, Marge, remember when we used to make out to this hymn?
Oh my God.
Oh, won't you come with me and take my hand?
Wait a minute, this sounds like rock and or roll.
This land.
There you go. There you go.
Gotta love The Simpsons.
Yes. It's still on the air.
I still love The Simpsons.
After many decades.
Right?
Yes, yes. Well, that opens up a line for you, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. You can text me at 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton. Email me, matt@mattconnerton.com. And, of course, you can comment in the Facebook live chat. But we'd love you to call us at 603-250-6007. We'll say hello to everybody in the chat room on the Facebook. Jordan Fox, by the way, said first in. Or what did he say?
First one.
First one in.
Yeah.
Yes. We haven't seen Jordan Fox in there in a while, so nice to see him in there. Michael Alber joins us in the chat room. Wayne Noel, who is a top fan all the way from Michigan. Mike Pelopita, who is a top fan, says, good afternoon, everyone. Mike from another one of our wonderful sponsors here at WMNH, Queen City Cabinetry in the historic Sunbeam Mall. Dan Lavasser, who is a top fan, joins us. Hello, Dan. Abigail Jem joins us and says, happy afternoon, folks.
Hello.
Charles Richardson is in the chat room. Charles, of course, called in earlier. He's also in the chat from The Charles Richardson Show on Raw Talk Online. Hello. Bobby Champagne joins us. Melanie La Liberty says, I think we're referring to the vaccine, and you have the right to have a purple tail in metrics. I think she meant in America.
America?
Yes. Oh, that's what she meant. Yes. Spell check changed it to metrics.
Well, good. I'm glad because I want it. I want my purple tail.
That's right.
Hey, shout out to I didn't say it before, the National Guardswoman, and I had a nurse from CMC who actually gave me the vaccine today.
Yes, yes.
They were awesome.
Yes, they were. Absolutely. Rocky Huber joins us in the chat. Hello, Rocky. Melanie says, I went to high school with Eric. I tell him to F off all the time with his Trumper posts. Oh, Eric Fisher, who was in the chat room a couple days ago. Yes.
He wasn't a fan of mine.
No.
He didn't like me very much. He thought I was screechy.
Yes, yes. That's okay. Like I say,
People are entitled to their opinions. No, everybody's got one.
We'd rather take the love than the hate, but we'd rather take the hate than take nothing.
Oh, there we go again.
Yes.
You and your philosophies.
Yes, yes.
Get off it.
Shannon McGuire joins us in the chat. She says, good afternoon, day 7 of my 20-day quarantine, getting a lot done around the house.
Sorry, sweetie.
Well, let's see. Bobby Champagne agrees with me, by the way. He says, absolutely no good can come from sharing a Facebook account. Poor Jenny, she'll have to take one of her parents in after the divorce, LOL.
Oh, please.
Oh, my goodness. No.
Save your fake sympathy for somebody who wants it.
Oh, no.
That one's so full of it.
Well, I think he was kidding. I think it was a joke. I don't think he was...
You never know with that one. He writes it one way and one thing. He's always posting something weird in the chat room.
Okay.
I've learned to ignore that one.
Oh, okay. Scott Robinson says Easy's video was must-see TV. Scott, I think, arguably Easy G's biggest fan.
I know.
He looks forward to.
I know he's waiting with bated breath for tomorrow. No, not tomorrow.
Friday.
He's going to wait 2 more days.
It's going to be Friday. Easy G's entertainment report. Yes.
He must be shaking with anticipation.
Chris H. Space is in the chat. Chris, of course, from the band Edgewise. We went and saw Edgewise opening for LA Guns at Jewel. That was a bit before the pandemic hit.
Maybe, perhaps, we will get to see musicians alive again
soon.
Yes.
Maybe we'll play an Edgewise track at the break.
Maybe you'll take me to a concert or something.
Yes.
Ooh.
Well, soon those opportunities should begin to...
You're going to be the one guy wishing the plague keeps going.
Present themselves. No, not at all. Not at all. Rocky says, if you tried cutting a bagel with a laser, I hear it's only for bagel cutting. Oh, referring to the Jewish space lasers.
I can't even get them to start up, dude. I keep trying. Pew, pew.
Yeah,
they don't start up.
Well,
I got nothing. I got duds, buddy. I got duds.
Shannon said, my second shot was supposed to be this Friday, but now it's delayed due to my quarantine. What if... So how does this work, though? What if... I mean, if she's only quarantined. Shannon, you don't have COVID, right? You're quarantining because somebody
in her house. It's in her own household.
So can't she get tested? And if she tests negative, go get the second shot?
I think she'd have to have a couple of negative tests.
Are
and
we in
with
some,
the variants and stuff?
I feel
don't
like
know.
we're in some gray area here, right? Like,
I think they're erring on the side of caution.
Yeah.
Until you're fully vaccinated, you're not treated as such. Once you are fully vaccinated, you will be treated as such. And that is true that once you're fully vaccinated, you don't have to do the quarantines.
Yeah.
But only after you are fully vaccinated. And that is 2 weeks after the second shot. They're not going to, I don't see them changing that.
But here's the thing, though. If she had the first shot, doesn't that make it significantly less likely that she...
But not impossible.
I know you can still... I know it's not impossible.
Not impossible that she could not only be exposed, but have it and be contagious. It is possible. And right now, remember, we've only got about a year's worth of research here.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while for us to really, get this all understood. And we need to err on the side of caution. Like they keep saying, we're erring on the side of an abundance of caution to reduce the number of illnesses, to reduce the number of deaths, and the less people that pass it on, the less replication, the less mutations. So it's all about if we do a little overkill, it's worth it.
Yeah.
But if you've got a fresh infection in your own home and you're not fully vaccinated, it does make sense for the quarantine to take place until something, it's being safe.
But then I wonder,
what if she's what if she did catch it from the other person and now she's an asymptomatic carrier? If it's in your own household, I can see why they're being, it's not like you maybe ran into somebody at the store. They're talking about somebody that you're very intimately close to in the same house.
But then I just wonder, though, so if her second shot is delayed because of this,
it's okay.
Like, how long can you wait?
It's okay. They'll be able to do it.
I mean, well, yeah, I know I know a part of the idea with this.
It's not like we're talking about months here.
Yeah.
It's only a few days to a week or so that she's, a couple of weeks that she has to wait a little
Actually,
extra.
that does make sense because now that I'm thinking about it, I remember reading that even 6 weeks between shots is fine.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I guess that works.
And like if you've had COVID, they don't vaccinate you until after 3 months have gone by.
Yeah.
It's not like you get it and then you can go get vaccinated. You have to wait 3 months.
But she's going to have to be tested at some point. Well, wait, but see now, okay, so if she had, it gets complicated.
She probably, I mean, which is why there has to be, this is exactly why there has to be a standard and not many standards. With one standard, we're all following the same rules. We're all doing the same thing. So we're all reducing the risk factors together. Mm-hmm. If everybody's doing their own deal, that doesn't protect everybody. I mean, it just doesn't work. And that's what was happening when everything was just straight let up to the states. So the federal government is now going, okay, here's where we at, and these are the protocols. If you're exposed, this is quarantine. Or get this testing and it's the national standard, and it needs to be that way.
Because I haven't really heard anyone address, and they probably haven't. I just haven't seen it. But I think I know why they might not talk about it much publicly, because they don't want it to get complicated. Because as soon as it gets complicated, people throw their hands up and give up.
Not only that, but it takes away some of the security.
I haven't heard anyone really address what you do in the situation that Shannon is in. So,
it is addressed.
I guess she's doing the right thing.
It is addressed. The answer right now is if you have an exposure of a proven case, you get quarantined if you are not fully vaccinated.
But what if she gets 2 negative tests? She could do that, right? And then end the quarantine?
I think you still have to have a certain period of quarantine and then get 2 negative tests. But I'm not positive. That I'd have to look up.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean.
But the national standard as of right now is
tricky.
If you have an exposure, then you have to treat it as such.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, it's everything in medicine is like that. You think worst case first because you don't want somebody to die. Somebody comes in, they have chest pain. You think could be a heart attack.
Yeah.
We got to rule that out first before we sit back and think maybe it's something else. So right away, they're checking your heart. They're doing EKGs. They're hooking up to a monitor. These are all the things that modern medicine does. And then when it proves out, oh, it's not a heart attack, maybe there's something else causing your chest pain. Maybe you tore cartilage, whatever it is. Then they figure that out. So in this instance, you're saying we have somebody who's 100% positive that you live with.
Yeah.
And the recommendation is that you quarantine.
Yeah.
Because you are not fully vaccinated and you have an active case in your own household.
Melanie is asking Shannon, I wondered this too, by the way. Melanie said, not that it's any of my business, but why are you quarantined for more than 14 days? Yeah, that's right. I wondered that too, because I thought it was 14, but Shannon is doing 20. Do you know?
Do I know?
Do you know what the reason would be for doing more than 14?
I do not know why she said 20 and not 14. I would have to look that up. I honestly do not know.
Maybe Shannon addresses it. Well, I'll see it in the. I'll see it as I scroll down. But
right.
Joe Friday is loving the Mr. I Buy and Sell sign that we have here in the studio.
Isn't that cool? And you know what? If you look at the Pilgrim, I swear it looks like it could be Hoppy's relative. If you look at the face on the Pilgrim, on the sign,
yeah,
it's
that's
like
true.
Hoppy's relative.
It does.
I'm not even kidding.
No, it does look like
Doesn't
John
it?
Hopwood, yeah.
I want a picture. I want John to come in, stand next to it so I can take a picture.
Now, Bobby Champagne said, referring to our theological discussion, you can go church shopping for a less strict way to get to heaven. That being said, as we all know, there is a highway to hell, but only a stairway to heaven. Although I would challenge that because I seem to recall Michael Landon and Victor French starring in a very popular series on NBC that I used to watch when I was a kid called Highway to Heaven.
I watched that too.
Yeah, so maybe you take the highway to heaven. At the end of the highway, there's a stairway, and then as you wind on down the road, you get to the.
I'm so glad my brain doesn't
stairway.
hurt itself over these ridiculous ideas anymore.
Me too. Yes. Absolutely. Let's see. Joe Friday says it's like taking an aspirin when you don't have a headache. It's not going to affect you. If you're a sinner and you go get the host, it doesn't matter.
Dead people.
Miriam Banish is in the chat room. She's a top fan. Hello, Miriam.
Christianity, I think, is the only one that's cannibalized.
Well, we have an answer here. Shannon says, my teenage daughter tested positive, and it's because it's a household member. The New Hampshire Health Department told me to quarantine for 20 days, normal 10 days, then 10 extra days as a just in case. So it was the New Hampshire Department of Health who said 20 days.
So I wonder if then you can get, maybe at the end of the first 10, you can get tested out? Maybe.
And she's saying it's normally 10 days, not 14, which I had forgotten about, actually, that they had shortened it.
Yeah, that's right.
It was 14, and then they said, no, we
yeah, she's right.
Shortened it to 10.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
But they told her an extra 10.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. You're spending a heck of a lot more than a few minutes with somebody in your own home. I mean, I get that.
Yeah.
I expect things are going to change and evolve over time. And a year from now, we're going to know even more information.
Yeah.
And we're going to be dealing, it's not going away. We're going to be dealing with it. Not that life isn't going to keep getting better. I believe it is.
Yeah.
But we're going to have to still keep some practices. We're not going to just suddenly go back to the way things were 100% before. And you know what? I really don't want us to. So if I learned anything about mankind, we're a bunch of dirty slobs. Dirty, nasty slobs. Because what have we seen? We've made everybody wash their hands, quit spitting all over each other, right? And look what happened. Less colds, less intestinal bugs, less flus, less a lot of stuff. Because people are washing up, using Purells. They're not hucking Louis all over each other.
Yeah.
I don't want any part of that to go away. I want that to stay in place.
I remember Dr. Fauci saying he personally would love to see handshaking never come back. I mean, it will. But
I'm not shaking people's hands anymore.
Yeah.
I don't really want to touch anybody anymore.
I like a good hearty fist bump.
Although I got to say, I miss my hugs. See, that's the thing. I do miss hugging.
Yeah, yeah. What about a hands-free hug?
See, I think that's the hands-free hug is a little safer there. You're not so germy hands.
Right, it's like a chest bump,
No, I don't like that either.
Well, that's what a hands-free hug basically
that wouldn't go
would be,
over
though.
well in my category.
Well, I mean, I don't mean a forceful, jump up in the air.
I don't see us really
so.
wanting to do that at my breast cancer support group meetings. You know, I mean, something about that just doesn't seem right for me.
No, that's true.
You know?
So Joe Friday says confirmation is a sacrament. However, it has no bearing on whether you get married in the church or get into heaven. It's a choice. Now, that contradicts what Gary was saying about how they kind of they confirm you on the spot. But again, with Catholicism, it depends. Like, you've got churches that are strict. You've got churches that are less strict. You've got churches that are very liberal. You know, it's, I mean, even with marriage like this, you know, some churches will tell you, well, you know, you only get one shot at that, you know, and you're still married in the eyes of God, even if you get divorced, unless you get an annulment.
That part used to creep me out.
Yeah, unless you get an annulment, which costs a lot of money. But there's other churches that'll say, we're not going to worry about it. We'll, you know.
Then there's ones that they don't care. They feel there's no way out. It's just always there.
Yeah.
Really creepy. Really creepy.
Yeah. Melanie said, I thought you just had to be super judgmental to be a Christian. Is being Catholic different?
I think that kind of goes for just about all religions.
Well, you know, it's like I always say, most Christians practice what I call ironic Christianity, where they go through the motions of, you know, loving Jesus without actually following anything he said. That, you know, Jesus was like into the non-judgment, you know, he among you who has not sinned may cast the first stone. But, you know, but again, if we're going if we're going to love Jesus, but also simultaneously ignore Jesus, then judge away.
This whole casting stone thing, right? Is that like why they could hit each other over the heads with poles in front of the Capitol? Why they were with their Jesus shirts on trying to barrel themselves in there?
That's how you back the blue.
That's how 5 people got killed. And 2 other officers. Yeah. Okay. So that's how you do it, huh?
Yeah, that's how you do it. Yeah.
I don't know. Call me crazy, but if I was a cop, I wouldn't want that.
No,
I wouldn't want that kind of support.
Bobby,
go figure.
Bobby said, I'm too good to be a Catholic, so I converted to being an ancient alien theorist. It's basically the same thing, except you get a history lesson. Oh, wow. Yeah, they have that show, Ancient Aliens, on the History Channel.
Seriously, with the weird dude with the spiky hair?
I've never actually subjected
He's all about the Anunnaki.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then their carvings are all about spaceships, you know.
Rocky Huber said, I guess the perfect Navy SEAL would find peace with his Lord before he goes and takes people's lives. Makes sense to me. Well, that gets a little complicated. We're not going to... Let's see. Melanie says, again, regarding this whole thing of quarantining, to Shannon, I think Vermont is different, which is weird. Can you test out at day 7 or 10? 20 seems crazy.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. And Bobby was asking, is the entire household feeling symptoms? I wondered if people could coexist and not get it.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean...
My parents.
Yeah.
My dad got COVID.
Yep.
My mom did not.
Yeah.
And they very much are in the same house. In fact, they're the only 2 people in the house, so they spend a lot of time together, you know?
Yeah.
And nope, my mom did not get it.
But then again, for all we know, your mom did get it and was asymptomatic. Who knows? It's possible that she did get it and never knew it.
This is true.
Yeah.
That possibility does exist. I can't say that it doesn't.
Yeah.
But not to our knowledge, she did not.
Right. Yeah. Rocky Huber said it's not different, answering Melanie's question. It's not different there. The most judgmental of the group. I go to church with the homeless because I feel that's where the Lord would be. Wow. I love that comment, Rocky. I love that. I go to church with the homeless because I feel that's where the Lord would be.
That's a nice comment.
That is
a nice comment.
And a nice insight. I like that. Like that.
Your ironic Christians will be working on their excuses for that one right away.
The ironic Christians won't understand what Rocky's talking about. That's like a genuine Christian there. That's awesome.
Did those ever exist in the church? I mean, let's face it. You used to have to buy your way into heaven. Couldn't afford the couldn't afford the fee. That priest was not going to give you any Hail Marys. Nuh-uh.
Joe Friday says, regarding Gary's call earlier, I think the issue is when he brought beer to the kids. No, Gary didn't say he did that.
No. It was just a Corona beer shirt.
Yeah.
No actual liquids.
Melanie says, I know the answer to this question. Melanie said, speaking of the Pope Mobile, why so much security if God is on your side? Well, it's a valid question, but the Lord does help those who help themselves.
The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away.
That's right.
If he meant it to be his time, why does he need all that security?
Bobby said Jesus was rarely seen at church. Just saying.
He was never actually seen at any church.
That's a good insight. Yes.
No, he was never seen. There was no such thing as a church.
Well, I think that's Bobby's.
He didn't go to a church.
That's Bobby's point. Yeah, and I think that's a good insight.
I don't believe that one.
Yeah. Well, that's right. But that's his point, though. You're in agreement. He's saying Jesus didn't go to church because there was no church. That was the point he's making.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It sounded like you were disagreeing with him, but I think you actually agree with him.
No. I'm not going to agree with him.
Okay.
Why would I want to agree with him?
I don't know.
That's just too easy.
Oh, okay.
Nah.
There's some funny comments in here, but we do need to get to a break. Oh, so Shannon says, my husband started feeling symptoms on Monday. Oh, and got tested immediately. Positive result. So her husband also then tested positive. She said, so far, I'm okay. There's just the three of us, and we have our space far away from one another. Plus, I've been disinfecting like crazy. Our house smells like a hospital. So her husband also is tested positive.
So that reset her time. It reset her clock to that. That became her day one.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
That makes total sense.
Yep.
Well, thank you for being good about it and be willing to share it.
Absolutely.
And be willing to share it.
Absolutely. We have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hi, Matt. This is Bobby Champagne calling.
Bobby Champagne, how are you? We haven't heard your voice in a long time.
Well, I call a little bit.
Yeah.
I call a little bit on the morning show, too.
Yes.
But I was just wondering if I had done something to offend Jenny. She seems to be, I don't know, not getting my humor at all today.
Your sense of humor is your own. I haven't... I think the last
Can
conversation
really
we had with you were just not too nice of an individual and left a nasty taste in one's mouth as to what you seem to think of me. But we'll discuss that later.
I don't remember ever doing anything to you, Jenny.
Oh, it's okay. I have a long memory.
I mean, I remember meeting you once at the Hop Knot to buy a piece of art
yeah. You're good. Don't worry.
Did I do something wrong?
You're perfectly okay. You are wonderful. You are good.
I don't understand the sarcasm.
No, I'm not being sarcastic. I'm not. I'm saying for real.
I did something to offend you, and
I didn't say sarcastically,
I
dear.
hope you can forgive me. Have a good day.
Oh my gosh!
All right.
He
Bye,
can
Bobby.
seriously not. He cannot have a conversation with that one.
Well, I think he thought you were being sarcastic.
I kept trying to say I wasn't.
Yeah, he wasn't hearing you.
Yeah.
Are you upset about a Facebook exchange with him, or?
No, don't you remember the incident that you guys put me in charge of, and then I had to go set stuff up, and with that individual. Oh, goodness.
It's a little fuzzy. I thought everything was good, though.
I had to make those calls.
Yeah, but I thought
you guys made me make calls I didn't want to make, and I make the calls for you guys, and then you guys act like it's me, and I was not a happy camper. No, I didn't want to get involved. You guys, I'm like, you sure you really want me to get involved? And then you guys are like, yeah, I want you to get involved, and you guys rolled the bus over my head and hung me out to dry.
Now I'm confused.
You guys had me make phone calls on a particular individual who was trying to get people fired.
Oh, that wasn't...
And making threats and doing things that were very unbecoming.
That wasn't Bobby.
No, but he was one of the ones that you asked me to it was decided to contact, and I got a nasty exchange from that.
Oh, right.
All because I was asked to do it. So that was done with that.
No, I think he just didn't. He didn't want to get involved with it. That was all.
No. That's not what he said.
Oh, okay.
If you remember, because you said you found it very shocking what he said to me. You were surprised by it.
I don't.
And that's what I said. I'm done.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I'm not making
now.
phone calls for anybody ever again. You guys have to do your own dirty work.
Yeah, well, I think we just decided it wasn't that
wasn't really worth
that whole
it.
thing wasn't worth pursuing.
It just wasn't.
No one was trying to hang you out to dry.
I don't want the headache. When you sure you want me to make a phone call, and I go make a phone call, and then I look like the jerk because I went and made phone calls.
Right, but then you and I talked about it, and like a couple weeks later, we were kind of like, maybe we should just let it go. It's not worth pursuing because that particular individual had kind of just
went away finally.
Although still pops up once in a while in the chat room, but
don't quite get that one.
Yeah,
there's a few pebbles loose in that one. Who is it? Carol Burnett said the windmills of your mind. The splinters from the windmills of your mind.
Yeah. Rocky said, I'm a little offended. You can't be, I think he's to Scott Robinson, you can't be EZG's number one fan until you actually attend an Amanda McCarthy show with Easy like I have and had to wipe the tears from his eyes. I still don't know if they were tears of joy or tears or not. Oh boy. Well, yes. We all know that story.
Rocky, you're next.
Uh-oh. Brian Mackey said, so if you get side effects from the vaccine and they say that's good because it's working, what does it mean if you don't get any? LOL.
It doesn't. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean it's not working.
Right.
So don't think that.
Yeah.
Your body's always fighting whatever it finds that it doesn't like. You know, you get your hands on something, a little cut, you got a little bacteria, a little something fuzzy in there.
Yeah.
Makes little antibodies, sends them off and goes, get it.
Yeah.
Bodies are good that way. Yeah, no, don't be worried. Don't be worried just because most people are not having reactions. It's a smaller number that have the reaction.
Yeah. Absolutely. A lot of great comments in there, but we do need to take a break. We're way past the top of the hour, so I have a couple fun things to play, and then I hear someone's car horn outside, and then we will be back. More Matt Connarton Unleashed coming up. Going to play a couple things, share some. Spread some love on behalf of our sponsors, show some love to our sponsors, and we'll be back. There is more to come in hour number 2. Don't go away. Hey, everybody, welcome back. We are way in hour number 2, a numero dos of Matt Connarton Unleashed. In fact, we only have a little bit of time left on today's show. I wanted to make sure we got that Edgewise track in, Fallen. Great song. I saw Chris H. Space in the from Edgewise in the Facebook live chat, so hadn't played any Edgewise in a while. Jenny and I went and saw them live back before the plague hit, back at Jewel in Manchester. Geez, seems like a lifetime ago now. Everything's what we've been through over the last year plus. But anyway, so here we are. Jenny had to take off, but if you'd like to get in with a call, there is still some time left today. 603-250-6007 is the number. 603-250-6007. You can text me at 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton. Or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. And, of course, you can always interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. But the best thing to do, give us a call at 603-250-6007. I see Christian Lacoste just popped in to the Facebook live chat. Let's see. I wanted to now a couple different things here. This really got my attention. This is from Reuters. Now, more than 100 companies have signed a letter opposing U.S. state voting restrictions. We've kind of caught a glimpse of this over the last couple of weeks, what has happened in Georgia. They made it, for example, a misdemeanor to hand out food and water to people waiting in line to vote. We all know the story there and what they've been doing with their voting restrictions. And my theory, and I haven't heard anyone else really say this outright, but my theory is that that's Republican Governor Brian Kemp. That's sort of his way of trying to get back on the good side of the base, signing that into law because they were upset with him for not finding a way to, along with Raffensperger and the Secretary of State in Georgia, to find some way to throw Georgia's electoral votes to Trump and to overturn that, President Biden winning in Georgia. And then we saw some of the repercussions for that, and even Mitch McConnell at one point saying, "Well, I don't think these companies should be getting involved in politics," which is interesting. Mitch McConnell, of course, a Republican who, I thought Republicans, they're all about free markets and whatnot, and you can do what you want with your business and use your business however you want to. And certainly if the MyPillow guy Mike Lindell wants to get involved in politics, for example, they're perfectly fine with that. But when corporations start standing up for what they think is right in terms of protecting people's right to vote, then somebody like Mitch McConnell says, well, what are they doing? They should just stay out of it. But ideology, typically, this is a very strange sound coming from outside. I have the windows open. It's very warm here today in Manchester. Ideology so often is rife with contradictions and inconsistencies, and it tends to be largely situational. Partisanship tends to rule, and it's all situational as far as, sometimes I just feel like, does anybody really have any core principles or values, or is it all just, what's best for my team at any given moment, right? Anyway, this popped up on Reuters a little bit ago. More than 100 companies have now signed a letter opposing U.S. state voting restrictions. It says here, more than 100 U.S. companies, including Apple, Amazon, Ford Motor Company, and Starbucks, have declared their opposition to voting curbs that a number of states are considering implementing. Activist groups say the restrictions outlined in voting rights bills already passed in Georgia and being weighed in, among others, Texas and Arizona, are specifically targeting black people and other racial minorities. The companies said in a letter published as a 2-page advertisement in Wednesday's New York Times, quote, "We all should feel a responsibility to defend the right to vote and oppose any discriminatory legislation or measures that restrict or prevent any eligible voter from having an equal and fair opportunity to cast a ballot," unquote. The statement was the initiative of former American Express Chief Executive Officer Ken Chenault, or Chenault, if it's the French pronunciation, and Merck and Company CEO Ken Frazier. Chenault, we'll go with that, said in an interview with Reuters, quote, "It was important for companies to assert some of the core principles of our democracy, and the most fundamental is the right to vote," unquote. The two executives pushed for companies to take a stance on a Zoom call with about 100 CEOs, investors, lawyers, and corporate directors on Saturday. Republican lawyers have criticized CEOs for speaking out on the issue. Chenault said the group that sponsored the letter, which includes the Black Economic Alliance, was not going to be prescriptive about how companies should voice their opposition to specific pieces of legislation. Republicans across the country are using former President Donald Trump's false claims of voter fraud to back state-level voting changes they say are needed to restore election integrity. Opponents of the move say they are intended to disenfranchise citizens who tend to not vote Republican. In a separate statement on Tuesday, the top executives of more than 36 Michigan-based companies, including General Motors and Ford, proactively opposed Republican-backed legislation that could restrict voting there. Atlanta-based Coca-Cola Company and Delta Airlines were not among the signatories of the Wednesday letter, but have put out individual statements calling the voting curbs in Georgia unacceptable. Delta declined to comment on Wednesday's letter. Coca-Cola said it had not seen the letter, but was open to hearing the perspective of the Black Economic Alliance. We're continuing dialogue, Chanot said. So there continues to be the pushback from corporate America on what they've done in Georgia and what they're trying to do in Texas and Arizona. It will be interesting to see if that sticks. I don't expect it to have. I don't expect it to have a necessarily an effect in terms of. I don't think these Republicans are going to change their minds. I think they're dug in on this, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't try. And I support these companies doing what they're doing. Rand Paul, this is from rawstory.com, also connected to this issue. Rand Paul complains that courts didn't give Trump's election fraud conspiracies a chance. Now, we'll go through this in a moment, but as far as the courts and the election fraud conspiracies, you know, there's a reason that these claims kept getting tossed out of court, right? I mean, we all know this, but let's review. People like Sidney Powell or Rudy Giuliani would say things publicly, would make all kinds of wild claims, whether they're going on Fox or OAN or Newsmax, or if they're having a public press announcement at, say, Four Seasons Landscaping, right? They would make all these claims. And Giuliani had a strategy, and I do believe it's a strategy. Some would say it's just the ramblings of a crazy old man. I think he really did have a specific strategy, a sort of a flood the zone approach where he would get up, and I'm thinking specifically of the incident, if I could use that word, at Four Seasons Landscape. Oh, I'm sorry, Four Seasons Total Landscaping, I believe is the name of the establishment, where Giuliani would just talk about, you know, all these, he would seem to sort of lurch around to all these different quote unquote examples of voter fraud. And I think the strategy behind that, because it was terribly hard to follow and incoherent, and just kind of this vomiting of all these words and ideas and conspiracy theories and whatnot. And I think the idea, the concept there is put so much out there that it is hard to follow. Because to some people, they hear all this information, and the way they react, maybe not consciously, but subconsciously in their minds, is people who want to believe what Giuliani is saying when he's doing this. The way some people react to that mentally is they begin to think, there's so much here, I can't possibly follow it, so it must be true. And there must really be something here. Oh, my God, I can't believe how much information Mayor Giuliani is presenting us. He's got overwhelming evidence. In reality, it's just a lot of vomit, and there is nothing to it, right? But people who want to believe will fall for that, and they'll go, oh, wow, listen to all this evidence that he has. But then the reason that none of this got anywhere in court is he could then take those same things and go into court, or Sidney Powell could take those same things and go into court and repeat them, but it would be very risky to do so because they knew it was all BS. They knew it was made up. If it is not illegal to lie to the media. Some would even revel in it, like our New Hampshire's own Corey Lewandowski, who once proudly admitted that, he would lie to the media and seemed to think it was a great thing, right? Oh, the media lies all the time, so it's okay for me to lie to the media. Remember that? Anyway, if you go into... So the point being, Giuliani or Sidney Powell, who now her defense, because she's being sued, along with Giuliani, along with Fox News, I think maybe Tucker Carlson is included in that. They're being sued by Dominion voting machines. They're being sued by someone else, too, I think, for defamation. But here's the thing. It's not illegal. You can have a civil action against you like a lawsuit, right? But it's not illegal for Rudy Giuliani to go out and publicly spew all this. But if he knows it's not true, and then he goes into a courtroom while under oath and starts saying all this stuff that he knows not to be true, well, that is illegal, and that's perjury, and he might end up in prison, right, for doing that. So that's why all this stuff would get thrown out of court. None of these challenges were successful, none of them. And they had a flood the zone approach in that sense, in that they were filing lawsuits all over, well, I shouldn't say all over the country, but, in states like Georgia and Texas and Arizona and wherever they could. Actually, I don't know if did they file something in Texas? I'm not sure now. It's hard to keep track of it all in my head. But they didn't get anywhere with any of it. Any of it. Why? Because when you get into a courtroom, you have to present some sort of evidence. Otherwise, it just gets dismissed. Even Lindsey Graham, on the day of the insurrection on January 6th, even Lindsey Graham, one of Trump's greatest sycophants in the Senate. I mean, he loves Trump. He adores him. I think he probably secretly hates him, but publicly he adores him. He has to. Lindsey Graham said that night when everyone returned after the insurrection, when they returned to certify the vote, certify the electoral votes of each state, Lindsey Graham said, "Look, there's nothing here as far as voter fraud. There's no evidence. I talked to so and so. I don't know. I talked to Sidney Powell. She said, I've got 100 examples, clear examples of voter fraud. And I said, well, just show me 10. She couldn't show me one. I went and talked to Mayor Rudy Giuliani. He said, I've got hundreds of examples. I said, well, show me 10. He couldn't show me one. Nobody had anything. So Lindsey Graham, he said, count me out. Count me out. You got nothing. There's no voter fraud here. And then, of course, he had to do everything he could to kiss up to Trump because, the next day he's getting harassed at the airport for standing up and saying, look, I just asked for a little bit of proof and no one could show me anything. Nothing. There's nothing here, So in that moment, he was honest and he said, count me out. And so the next day at the airport, he's getting harassed by MAGA people who are furious with him for not participating in overturning the election, in supporting Vice President Mike Pence in overturning the election, which he had no legal authority to actually do. But, some of these people, they don't want to hear that. They're convinced that Donald Trump is still the rightful president. And, there's just nothing. I mean, they were willing to stage an insurrection over it that very same day, right? So they got nothing. So that's why all of these got thrown out of court. So according to rawstory.com, one of Trump's other greatest sycophants, a man that I actually at one time had some respect for, Rand Paul. Raw Story is reporting today, Rand Paul complains that courts didn't give Trump's election fraud conspiracies a chance. Speaking at an event hosted by the Heritage Foundation, Senator Rand Paul, Republican of Kentucky, said that courts never fully analyzed former President Donald Trump's claims of mass voter fraud. The Washington Examiner reports. Some of those were Republican-appointed judges, by the way. I just want to point that out. According to Paul, the merits of Trump's claims were not fully heard. He said, quote, the one thing I think is untrue is that the courts fully heard this. Courts have been hesitant to get involved in elections, unquote. Well, I think, yeah, they're hesitant to get involved unless there's a clear and present reason to get involved. You don't want to be over, it's not the job of the judicial branch to be in the business of turning over elections unless you come to them with something credible. Otherwise, you're just, subverting democracy. It says the Kentucky Republican said judges need to decide whether officials, like a Secretary of State, can make changes to election law without permission from the state legislatures. Writes the Examiner's Alex Swoyer. During the COVID-19 pandemic, a number of state officials made changes to election laws ahead of the November election, such as extending the deadline for mail-in ballots. Paul went on to say that states should pass election laws that declare a Secretary of State can't mail out ballots or make unilateral changes outside the law. So that was Rand Paul weighing in. By the way, and let me see if I can find it quickly, because we never really, I don't think we ever covered it on the show, but it's so laughable. Sidney Powell did say, if you missed this, actually, here's the story from CNN. Sidney Powell argues in new court filing that no reasonable people would believe her election fraud claims. Now, she's saying that because, again, she's being sued for defamation. Dominion voting machines, they've had their name dragged through the mud through all of this. So right-wing lawyer Sidney Powell is claiming in a new court filing, and again, this happened a few weeks ago, but we never talked about it, that reasonable people wouldn't have believed as fact her assertions of fraud after the 2020 presidential election. It's madness, isn't it? The election infrastructure company Dominion Voting Systems sued Powell for defamation after she pushed lawsuits and made appearances in conservative media on behalf of then-President Donald Trump to sow doubt about the 2020 election results. Dominion claims that Powell knew her election fraud accusations were false and hurtful to the company. In a new court filing, Powell's attorneys write that she was sharing her opinion, quote unquote, and that the public could reach their own conclusions about whether votes were changed by election machines. Yeah, she was just kind of thinking out loud, while she was publicly advocating for overturning the election, because there was all this alleged voter fraud. Powell's defense lawyers wrote in a court filing on Monday, quote, given the highly charged and political context of the statements, it is clear that Powell was describing the facts on which she based the lawsuits she filed in support of President Trump, unquote. Huh? There's more to the statement. Indeed, plaintiffs themselves characterized the statements at issue as wild accusations and outlandish claims. They are repeatedly labeled inherently improbable and even impossible. Such characterizations of the allegedly defamatory statements further support defendants' position that reasonable people would not accept such statements as fact, but view them only as claims that await testing by the courts through the adversary process. So it sounds like her lawyers are arguing on her behalf, basically, that what she said was so unbelievable and over the top, no reasonable person would admit them. And the plaintiff's own assertions that these statements were so ridiculous is actually evidence that she did nothing wrong, because, of course, the statements are ridiculous. Therefore, there is no reason to believe them. It's almost like, well, not almost. It's like they're saying, look, the plaintiff is proving our point for us. They're saying the statements are ridiculous. And they are. Therefore, no reasonable person should believe them. Therefore, no harm, no foul. So they're arguing you can defame anybody you want to, I guess, as long as what you say about them is so ridiculous and over the top that it's possible to argue that no reasonable person would believe the claims to begin with. And so then you can say whatever you want to about anybody, damage their reputation, their business, whatever. Election authorities and Dominion have resoundingly called Trump's loss in the election accurate and untainted by any possible major security risks. Trump's lawyers and his allies quickly lost or dropped all but one major case out of nearly 60 following the election, as the then president sought to overturn Joe Biden's win in multiple key states. Representative Peter Major, probably not saying that correctly, of Michigan, one of the Republicans who voted to impeach Trump in January after the January 6th Capitol attack, tweeted that Powell's argument is pathetic and said, quote, absolutely infuriating. GOP lost the Senate, plus 5 people died in attack on the Capitol in part because Sidney Powell misled millions, claiming stolen elections. Now Powell backtracks, saying no reasonable person would believe what she alleged in court were statements of fact. Pathetic. Well, I would have to agree. We are out of time, though, my friends. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you to Jenny and all of our callers today. If you missed any part of today's show, of course, I might end with another Edgewise song, just for the hell of it. But if you missed any part of today's show, it will be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org and, of course, MattConnarton.com. And, and by the way, if you were on WMNHradio.org yesterday looking for yesterday's show, an updated version of the show has been, Miriam says she's trying to use Larry Flint's defense. An updated version of the show has been put up for yesterday. The original file was missing part of the audio, but that has been corrected, and I did upload the full show, so that is available now at WMNHradio.org. All right, I think we're gonna end with another Edgewise track. This is Upside Down. This is from their release called All Things End. By the way, you should see the cover for this. It's very appropriate for the COVID era. Anyway, and with that, we will bid you adieu. I'll talk to y'all a little bit later. Bye.